Hey, what is going on? Just continuing to review my ranked games today. So some of these games are the ones that I was playing during my mid-ladder climb. Um, I don't, and I finally remembered to do the deck breakdown at the beginning of the video. I don't quite remember which one I was using for these games, but it's going to be one of the two that I go through. The first one, this is a newbie and Stefan's list, the ones that topped the OC regionals recently. So I'm just gonna go through the card by card real quick. So 3 Luffy Taro, 3 Rush Luffy, 4 Sanji Pudding, 4 Zoro. They're on the 10 2K list with the two of the best, or 8 of the best 2Ks, and then 2 for Nosuke. 2 Fat Zoros, 4 Nami Searcher, 4 Event Searcher, 4 Stage, 4 Bagua, 4 Gum Giant, 1 Zero Cost, and 3 of the Dead Man's Game. So I was either running that one or I was running this one. This is by Skepass. I think his Twitter handle is like SkepSG. And he's been seeing a lot of success winning like store regionals and stuff. So I can put his like Twitter in the description or whatever after. But same thing. 4 Nami Searcher, 4 Event, 4 Zoro, 4 Stage. He's running 3 of the Fat Zoros, 2 Frankie, 8 of the best 2Ks, 4 Sanji Pudding, 3 Rush, 2 Luffy Taro, 1 Brochette Blow, 2 Deadman's Game, 3 Thunder Bagua, 4 Giant, and 2 Zero Cost events. So whatever games I'm playing, I'm probably running either one of these two lists. I just don't quite remember because I recorded these a couple days ago, I believe. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So my game one is against Bonney, and let me make sure I have this speed. So I win dice roll, choose to go second, and I mulligan my hand. I don't know what my starting hand was, but my mulligan is absolutely terrible, but we'll see how it goes. Rip a Searcher, which is really good, and probably just going to grab the Zorojuro for my 4 Dawn play. Opponent just searches with the Bonney they played out turn 1, swings 5, and they play out a second one and search with that too. I think this is incorrect from the opponent's side. I think this just gives me... I think he should have just searched this once and left the other one standing, because now I get to free clear both of them. Whereas if he left one standing, then the next turn... like... I can still clear it with the Nami, I suppose, but I still waste like another turn, and he can tap down the Zorojuro instead of like me, because I end up leaving it standing, I believe, for the next turn. So, I mean, I don't think it's the biggest deal, but I think he should have just left one standing. But I grabbed the Luffy Taro off of the Zorojuro because I don't think there was anything really good in that stack. Yeah, it's just I don't need any more 2Ks at this point. Or any counter. The stage isn't like that great in this matchup, so yeah, I think Luffy Taro is really the only thing to grab there. The bad thing is, okay, I just ripped the Sanji Pudding off the top, which is really good. So here, I could play the Sanji Pudding, but I don't really have any follow-up, so I decide to search instead and cycle bricks out, but I think this was incorrect. Or like I know it's incorrect. I should have just played the Sanji Pudding here anyways. And then I can search if I want to. But now I'm just like left with 4 Dawn and nothing to do. And I decide to just pass there, which I think is fine. My main reason being is like I want him to turn this Cavendish sideways, and then I can start taxing him for cards. And then if he plays like a carrot or something and stuns the Zorojuro on this next turn, then I only really have one swing, and it doesn't look. Yeah, I don't think that does anything. So I think the opponent recognizes this and then decides to just pass with everything standing on his side as well. He gets to play out a chump blocker. As well as like the Arouge, which is really good. And he gets to draw off this killer with the Dawn attached too. So, yeah, really good heads up play by the opponent there. And then since I ripped the Dead Man's Game off the top, like if I had the Sanji Pudding that I played from last turn, then I could like Deadman's Game and then start taxing cards anyways. So I could like tap down this blocker as well as like the what would I tap down here? I think I could tap down like the Cavendish and the Dawn probably, and then go 6 like 8 or whatever into it, and then he'll probably end up letting this go so he can draw a card, but then I'll start taxing cards for this Cavendish, or he can give me the Rouge, and I think that's better in both cases anyways. So since I'm behind, I just opt to play the Luffy Taro and then just pass again here. Which I'm like sort of pseudo-starving him, and he's on 9 and he can't really play anything meaningful. I think the worst thing here probably would be an 8-cost Kid. But I don't think it's gonna be like the worst thing, because he'll probably... He goes down to 5 playing it, and if he plays something else with it, he goes down to 4. Then I can tap the Dons down with... if he leaves more than one standing, it can be a problem, but if he doesn't, then I can just tap it down and start swinging into it pretty big and just tax the crap out of his hand. I think the problem with this, though, and the problem with starving Bonney, is if they just drop a 9-cost Zoro here, I just lose. So you can't starve Bonney fully just because 9-cost Zoro exists, I believe. But since I don't really have anything to do here, I end up just passing again, and he swings big, take, and he plays another Rouge. It's really annoying for us. But now my board's full, and then now I have the opportunity to play this Deadman's Game to start taxing their hand, and it gives me the blocker, and I swing 7. I swing 6. And I think I should have honestly just swung like 8-8 into this, or swung like 7 at the Rouge and then 8 at the Cavendish or something, because like I have a ton of counter, so I shouldn't really be afraid of dying next turn anyways. And then if he decides to Hody or something, both my Dawn get tapped down. So I don't think there's any point in me floating Dawn here. I don't really think I'm in threat of dying this turn, so there's like no point in me really leaving so much Dawn up. But he finally turns his Cavendish sideways after freezing my board, and then now I can start like trying to tax this Cavendish again. I think turning this Rouge sideways was also not that great, because now I can, since I have the Rush Luffy, I can still like attack him. And then now I have to sort of play around Hody, so I leave 4 up for counter events. So he swings 10. I don't want to go down to 0 here, so end up gianting out of that one, and I'm super healthy on Dawn, so I don't really care about like going about Dawn minusing at this point. So he plays a second Dofi, which is pretty annoying. Decide to use the Deadman's Game because I finally need to clear this Rouge. I think taxing him 6 here is fine, because I can poke another 6 at it with Leader anyways, and if he wants to go down to like 1 card in hand, then the Dofi is dying here by me just jamming relatively big at it, but I decide to jam into it anyways, go 13 here. I think I'm in a bit of trouble if he ends up saving it, like he goes 2-1, because that means I'll have to counter out of both of the Dofi swings, but I also sort of have to play around Hody at this point. So maybe swinging 14 there was better, because even if he taps down the Dawn with Hody, I don't think I'm dying to Hody here. Yeah, and then I gotta start poking at him and try getting him in lethal range. So he swings this one, and then I have to counter out with the Gum Giant. And he plays another Dofi, which is insane. Luckily, I ripped this Thunder Bogwa off the top of my life. And then I swing 10. I think this is also another mistake here. I should have just swung like 14 or whatever the number was again, because this 10 is just so easy to counter out of. And now I have to like invest a bunch of Dawn into my leader now to try and hit it again, when I could have just killed it in like one clean sweep. So, and this is really bad. That's just like a really bad number. If he just 2Ks out of there, I just kind of lose. So now I have Thunder Bagua, so I have to leave 4 Dawn up just in case Hody comes. I think Hody again doesn't kill here if I have 4 up, because I can just Bagua out of the Hody swing and then counter out the leader swing and just take the 10 Dofi hit. And then he's not really allowed to go for it with Hody, because if he goes for it with Hody, then he takes a life and he goes down to 2, and I have a completely full board and he just dies on the crackback. So I don't think he's allowed to Hody here. I give him the Bagua and a 2K, and then he plays another Dofi, which is crazy. So here I make the decision that I have to kill here, because I no longer have any counter events and it's not feasible to try and live through another turn, because he slams 10, and then after that I'm just praying that this is a Gum Giant if I play that way. So, and I have 2 Rush Luffys, so I potentially have up to 6 swings, and I need 4 of them to connect. If I go like 6 here, 6 with leader after leader ability, then I could go 7, play Rush for another 7, play the second Rush and go 7/7 again. But because he's so healthy, there's like no real guarantee on any of the things going through, and there's no real like guaranteed numbers, I believe, when I was doing the math for this. So I think and the way I end up playing this out is just like super greedy, and I probably should have gotten punished, but I don't. So but I could also make the read, because he was giving up the Dofis for like 10s and 11s and not countering out of the Dofis earlier. I can sort of like have the read at this position that like our opponent is pretty bricked up. So the 6 goes through, luckily. A 7 gets countered out. Yeah, with the 0 cost. Here, play the Rush Luffy, leader ability, and then I swing another 7. And then because this connects, I'm allowed to just swing big twice here. And I think the only way I lose is like if he gets like a Luna trigger out of life, but I don't think most Bonnies are really playing Luna. So I get there, but I'm not necessarily convinced that the numbers I swung were correct. But I think based on like when I was like reviewing this footage over, I think it just depends on how the opponent counters out. So I think that 6 swing to start with wasn't necessarily bad, but it just like kind of had to depend on how my opponent reacts to each of the swings. So definitely tricky, and there's no guarantee, but like also the opponent just having only 2Ks out of life and in hand is also pretty unlikely. So and it's Bonney, they tend to be pretty bricked up often, so yeah, we get there. Yep, on to game 2 against a Rayleigh. I'm finally starting to see them on ladder, which, I mean, good for me, I guess I get the practice, but this is just like such a hard matchup. So looking at my hand, there's essentially 2 dead cards in the Luffy Toro and the Rush Luffy, so I opt to mulligan this. Now I have dead cards, but I can cycle the stage away on my turn 1, which is good, and then I play this Nami so I can potentially contest the buggy by only swinging in for like with 1 attached in case I don't see a Zorojuro. and I do not end up seeing one, so I just grab a 2k and I pass. So he shows me a Conquerors, and then I think the other one is the Searcher, I believe. He swings 5 and swings 6, and I give him 2k for the second swing. I think I should have countered out of this one first, because if I take this one and then he slams 7 instead of playing this boa, then I'm already down to 2 life, which is like really not good for me. And then he draws a Mulgun off of the boa. Yeah, so since I don't have like a real play, I end up just searching again and grab a Zoro, cycle out the stage, swing 3 into the buggy, and then swing 5, and then play another Searcher. Like, these bodies are actually like really good in the Rayleigh matchup sometimes, so it can be nice to have. Here, I opt to grab a second Sanji Pudding because he has a Mulgun, so just in anticipation of like after he blows up the first one, I need to stick another one, because I think the only way you can really win this matchup is if you have at least one stick, I think. So luckily our opponent plays the Luffy, but only plays a buggy out of it, so that's like really good for us. And then shows us 2 conks, touches 1 to bow. I think he used the search event there. Swings 7. Sadly, I have to take this one. Pops the boa, and I have to take this one as well. So I'm down to 1 life, which is not good. But our opponent realistically only has 2 swings, so it's alright. Play the Sanji Pudding. Swing 6 to leader. And then this is sort of risky, but I end up playing out the Zorojuro, sort of saying to him that like I cannot die this turn. I end up grabbing the 2k, but I think I should have grabbed the 0 cost here instead, because I just have like the second Luffy Taro realistically is never getting played here, so I think just cycling another brick out of hand was probably better. I grab a 2k. So we decide to swing 8, which that 0 cost could have like gotten me out of that swing cleanly, and I still would have a 2k left over. And he already leader ability here, so the buggy's not swinging this turn. He Mulguns. The great thing about, like, Mulgun obviously sucks because it can blow up our best card, but the good thing for us is like them wasting 4 Dawn is very, very expensive for them. So it sort of buys us some time, and then it gives me time to play the Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding here, which is good because this Luffy Taro can start contesting this Luffy without really losing any value, since I can swing 8 into it, and that still demands 2 cards. So yeah, play the 2, and then pretty sure I just end up swinging 6 in leader. He counters. I don't necessarily even think this swing is correct. Like, he ends up letting it go here, which is really, really surprising. I generally don't think swinging that there is correct because it's such an easy counter for him to get out of, and he's pretty healthy in hand size right now. But we get lucky and he ends up letting it go. I think even if he saves it, I don't think I'm dying with the amount of counter I have in my hand, but it definitely makes the game a bit more difficult. So our opponent's still super healthy, shows the unblockable, and shows the conk, which, yeah, this is just the -1 event, which, like, him showing us this is okay, but it doesn't really, like, when you're at 0 in this matchup, like, you never want to be playing a blocker down anyways. You just have to survive off of your events at this point. Ends up jamming 14. So I'm thinking about gum-gumming here, but I want to stay healthy on Dawn, so I just counter out with Bagua, then the Dead Man's Game into 2k. So able to stay healthy there, and then now I have to try and aim for lethal within like 2 turns or so. And then I think my opponent recognizes this, so he starts countering out. Then just grab a 2k here, I just need to survive. And then, yep, I don't, like, these numbers are, I think these numbers are fine, even though they might not be like super optimal, but I just want to float like a ton of Dawn just in case, I draw into more counter events, so it's the only reason I did so. Plays a boa, draws an armament, plays a buggy. I'm not quite sure what my opponent is looking for here. Maybe just more counter. Pops the boa and decides to swing 11 and leave 3 up. So now my opponent is scared of dying, and decides not to go for it, and I can just gum out of that one. And then I think normally there's like a possibility that I have to try and kill here, but I have 4 counter events in my hand, so I can play for another turn again and not be too scared. So I decided to just poke base numbers. Gives me the Rad Beam. Yeah, our opponent had so much counter, so it probably would have been pretty hard to go for lethal, to be honest. So I think I just got pretty lucky having all these counter events in hand. So just leader ability and float 6. And I don't think there's any world where our opponent can kill here. Shows us the 2 events and decides to just swing 6 with the buggy, just give him the 1k, and then he jams 15, and we have counter for this. And we even rip a Bagua off the top, which is so we can stay healthy on the crackback. But I think regardless of whether we go down or not, we're killing 100%, so we get there. And then for the 3rd game, another Rayleigh. So I win the dice roll here, I opt to go 2nd. And this hand, honestly, this is kind of tough because we sort of have 2 unplayable cards. Like the Gum Giant in the beginning of the game doesn't do anything, just because if you use it early, you Dawn minus so heavily. So this is effectively a brick until like the mid to late game, and it's only useful if we are able to stay healthy and Dawn. And then the Rush Luffy, yeah, this is like so hard to play down reasonably in this matchup. So, but we have 2 searchers, so I end up keeping. Draw Boggle, which is good. A 2k off the event, which is good. So we have a pretty good start, and then I can just grab the Zorojuro here for a 4-Dawn play. Thinking about the Frankie, but I think the Zorojuro is always correct just because it can replace itself after you play it. Opponent plays a Shaki. Swings a 5, just counter out of this one, and then opponent decides to swing, grabs a Mulgun, plays another Shaki. So, yeah, I think regardless of whether I went face or I went to the buggy there, since I'm not leader abilitying this turn, any of these bodies is like a real threat, I suppose. So, not sure if swinging into the buggy there was correct. Maybe I should have just gone face, but I don't think it matters here. I think maybe grabbing the 2k or the 0 cost, I think either one is fine. Because, like, I'm not happy pitching this, but it's not the worst either, and I don't really have any other counter. What does our opponent show us off of the Luffy? Oh, double Mulgun. Okay, that's like pretty scary. And this is like the worst thing. We don't want to see this. So he goes buff Sanji. Oh no, Sanji's buffed. He dons up the Shakuyaku and swings 5. I have to take, unfortunately, and I can 2k out of this one. So we can actually, if we have the Fat Zoro here, we can actually punish this play pretty hard by going Sanji Pudding into the Fat Zoro. Then we swing the Nami here, and then the Luffy returns to a 4K, and then we can swing like 6 into 4 and make him let this go, and then or we can even swing like the Zoro into it first to see if he wants to give up a card, and then if he does if he ends up saving it, we could go 6 here, and then or swing 6/6 at leader. So but we don't end up drawing it. Try to cycle out a brick, and I don't really have anything good to play, so I end up just playing the Sanji putting out and leader abilitying, and I float one probably for Bagua and Dead Man's Game. I think it's still too early to Gum Gum Giant in this position. He mulligans as expected, but mulligan here is fine because he already has like 2 good threats on board, so I just 2k this. He goes 8, that's a clean Dead Man's Game right there. And then he goes 8, and I need the body to stick to help clear out like bodies on his turn. So start with the 3 into the Sanji, and he counters out, and since he's showing me the second mulligan, I decided to try and bait it out with this Rush Luffy. I think if I was going to do that though, so let's see what I end up doing. So what I end up doing is I swing 7 here, which I don't think these swings are correct, just because like it's so easy for him to counter out like just 1 here. So I think I just and he gave me a 2k for it, so it's fine. But if I was gonna try and tax this, then I think I play this and I swing 7 here before I swing the 5 into the Sanji. The only thing with that though is if I play this first and I swing 5 here, and if after I play this, if I swing 5 here and he opts to save it, I think that's the punish there, because he can just he can swing really heavily into me. So maybe this order was correct, but I'm not sure. But I think the 7 should have just gone at leader and just like have me put him in a position where I can potentially lethal him. But I end up not leader abilitying here because yeah, I didn't want to go 2 Dawn minus because I'm potentially gonna Gum this turn. So he plays the combo again, shows me the mulligan and the unblockable. He gets rid of my little weenie. Goes 7 into life, I have to take it. He goes 8. And then I Gum, and then I pitch the Gum, which I think is wrong. I should have definitely pitched the Luffy Taro there. And then he mulligans my rush away. I think in this position, I can start asking for cards out of his hand, because he has 1 unblockable at this point and 1 unknown. So we can go 6 here and see if he wants to give a card, because I think at this point I just need to sort of slow the pace of the game down. And I end up playing Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding. And then I swing 2 6s at it. He counters once, and then he lets it go the second time, which means that these 2 are probably bricks. And then I make the fatal mistake here of playing the Zoro Juro and not leaving any Dawn up. What I should have done instead was play this Nami, and then grab this Gum Giant, and then floated 3 Dawn. He shows me 2 events, so I think this is the Searcher one, I want to say, I'm not quite sure. He swings 8s, I 2k 1k, swings 8, I have to 2k 2k, then he swings 6, and then I have to take, because he knows this is a, actually no, he doesn't know it's a brick, because, what did I grab off of the, I grabbed the, yeah, these 2 aren't going to do anything for me at this point in the game, so I have to grab Gum Giant. And now he knows I have a brick in my hand. since I don't have any Dawn floating. I think the only thing that gets me out of here is if I like this is like a 0 cost or a Thunder Bagua trigger, but yeah, not that lucky. But if I floated Dawn, I definitely live here, and then I can attempt to kill him. So let's say like, and I already did the math on this, and regardless of like me living here or not, because I have to Gungam Giant and I start the next turn with 6 again, I'm never killing here. We know, actually, am I killing here? Because we know, we have knowledge of observation and he showed us this card earlier. Okay, so maybe we do get there. Because I can go 6. He has to take. Then I go 7. He has to take. 6, 7, 9. 2K, 2K. He has to take, and then I can leader. I guess leader. Yeah, I can leader ability. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And get 1 back. Okay, I guess I do get there. But that would have to, like, I'd have to remember to keep track of like everything in his hand. I'm assuming that's not the 2K counter. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, I'd have to keep track of all like what he was showing me, but theoretically, if I remembered that he had 2 bricks in hand. Oh shit, never mind. This is a 2K2, right? Okay, so maybe I don't get there. So maybe I go 7, he has to take. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all of these have to connect. So I go 7, take 8. He has to take. And then. Yeah, I think he always has it, just because he has 1 2K here. I keep forgetting this isn't a brick, and it's kind of hard to remember with all the Rayleigh events. But there is a world where, like, my opponent doesn't have a lot of counter out of hand, or like one of these are bricks or something, and the order of like when you get your brick and when you don't also sort of matters, I think. So like at least gives me a chance sometimes, but I ended up just like throwing the game there, and I don't ever get the opportunity to try and go for lethal. So I think that's where I sort of messed up. Maybe I still lose anyways, and then maybe if I did my swings a little bit better from earlier on in the game, like I could have had a chance in this game, but it's hard to say. And yeah, definitely a very, very hard matchup. Like this one, I think you just have to play your brains out, and it's you know, I wasn't able to do it here, but that's why we review the games. Yep, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See ya.